Let's just generate data about the Lord of the Flies. Tell me about it. Yes?
Covered with flies. Pig's head.
So in other words, the imagery is imagery of disgust, right? So one of our questions is, how does the author describe it? And you say it's covered with flies. I want somebody going into the book and finding out where the description is of the Lord of the Flies. I want to look at actual words used to describe it. I want quotations up on this board. While other people are looking at that, give me other pieces of information. Yes? Read. Pause for a moment, Alyssa. I want to capture that. Go ahead, read.
They were black and iridescent green without...
No, start over where you started at the beginning.
The pile of guts is a black blob of flies that buzz like a saw, and then it goes on to say they were black and iridescent green without number, and in front of the Simon the Lord of the Flies hung on a stick and grinned. As Simon gave up and looked back, he saw white teeth and dim eyes, the blood in his gaze are held by that ancient inescapable recognition.
This is imagery of disgust. First of all, the pile of guts and the black flies. Secondly, the ancient grinning thing is an imagery of fear. So it is disgusting and fear-inspiring. And many of our novels have different pagination, but Alyssa, where did you find that? 138. Thank you very much. Give me more. That's one of the questions. Remember the 4 questions. Alyssa, give me anything else.
Well, I was just going to say that.
Nice. More.
Simon's the only one that actually
More.
Doesn't Ralph run by it, but he
Yes and then no. Okay, so Casey, you've actually gotten to one of the most important and interesting details of the book. Ralph encounters it later, right, at the end of the book. So we're going to pause on that one for, that's going to be one of our final plot details to take a look at. But what else do we have about the pig's head before the Ralph encounter? Remember, don't ignore the obvious, folks. Yeah. Now, this is always one of the trickiest moments of the entire sophomore year when we discuss the generation of the Lord of the Pigs. Or Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Pigs. Lord of the Dance. Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Flies. Rawr. Okay, Lord of the Flies. Not just did Jack kill the pig and create it. Does anybody remember the details associated with the killing of that pig?
It was the bottom.
Okay, so it is a sow with piglets. It is suckling its young at that point. Sarah? More than that. Anybody really get what they were doing to it? And it was Roger, right?
They stuck it in the
Sam, do you want to try to approach this delicately?
Is it they stuck it in their butt or something?
No. Okay, we laugh because we're a little bit uncomfortable, and I would not deal with this detail unless it were important, and it is vitally important to understand how the thing was created. The thing was not just a killed pig. If it were just the product of a hunt, that would be one thing. It's something more. And you must look at the details and ask yourself, why would Golding do this? Why would it be a sow with piglets to intensify the horror? You haven't just killed a pig, you've killed a mother pig that is suckling its young at that point. And then you take Roger, who in my estimation is the most evil of all the boys on the island. Jack at least has some light within his soul. Roger is just a dense cloud of black. Roger desecrates and violates it. And not to put too fine a point on it, but they, fine a point, spear. But they use the spear basically to ram up its anus. See? Sorry, got to say it. Golding describes it. At least some of you got it when he was writing that. And if those of you sitting out there saying, this is disgusting, why are we talking about this? Because Golding wants us to talk about it. Because Golding wants this symbol to be born of atrocity, violation, and horror. He wants Roger, the most violent and irredeemable of those boys, to commit an act of atrocity against a defenseless creature. He wants that to happen. And that's important to understanding what exactly the Lord of the Flies represents. Anything else? So Jack creates it. So, wait a minute. When I say Jack creates it, you should take Jack out and place what in that sentence? No, not Simon. Simon doesn't create it. What? Violence creates it. Violence and aggression and anger creates it. Simon understands it. So what understands it? Faith understands it. Does Piggy ever encounter it? No. And Ralph doesn't encounter it until much, much later. What does it represent?